Well, when you think about influences in a family business, it's hard to look much further than my father. For me, I can't think of a better mentor or leader to be behind than my dad.
Yeah, so Dad taught us business at a very young age. So Russ and I, he set us up mowing neighborhood lawns for money. Then he taught me into getting a paper out. So I had that afternoon paper out for 3 or 4 years. Then when it came to entering the hardware business, Mom said, "You sure you want to work Saturdays for the rest of your life?" And I said, "Well, I think I do. I think I really like this business."
We go back a pretty long way, all the way back to 1927. And for years, they were headquartered right down at the beachfront. They had a small hardware store on 17th Street between Atlantic and Pacific, and then one building materials operation on the corner of 19th and Pacific. For years, that was the operation. After my dad got out of the service, he came back and joined the company, and they continued to grow. And I think Dad's youth and new ideas kind of kept spurring things along. But the company has continued to grow right alongside with the community, with the city and the community.
We have 11 locations throughout Hampton Roads, and we've been a part of the community for 94 years now. So our name is known. We are the alternative to the big box. Customer service. It's a cliche in a lot of businesses, but it's not in Taylor's Jewelry Centers. When you go to a big box store, you don't expect to get good customer service, and you don't get it. But when you come to Taylor's, you expect good customer service, and you better get it. So we pride ourselves on very good customer service. And we are known for having the greatest Christmas trees in all of Tidewater. Well, Dad taught us at a very young age how important it is to give back to your community. It's so important. Every community has needs and has projects and organizations that's near and dear to your customers' hearts, and they really are seeking your support. And when you support them, wow, you got a loyal patron. They know they can count on you year in and year out.
It would be hard to look at organizations within the city and the community that we haven't been part of. And not just to have a name on a letterhead, but really I'm talking about real engagement and process and leadership. And that's what it's important about lifting and raising the community the right way, so that community is there to be a part of our business. Family businesses, and I've had the opportunity to look at an awful lot of them across the country and even around the world, and they all have a lot of similarities, and the good ones have similarities, and the not so good ones have similarities. And
see, a lot of families are not lucky enough to have children that are interested in being in the business. That's why a lot of them sell. There's no one there to be involved, but we're lucky that we have 5 from the 4th generation. My 2 boys, Jody and Doug, and of course Bob just mentioned Meg and Roby, and my sister's son Taylor, all finding their unique spots in our business as we continue to grow. So fortunate to have those 5, and really happy to look at them and see where the future of this company is going to grow to allow me to play more golf.
And I look at kind of the history in our small business and growing, and there are risks along the way, and it's you look at this past year, and it's been a challenge for a lot of retailers. If you're never failing, you're probably not taking enough risks, and you've got to continue to look for those opportunities. They're not always going to be home runs, but if you're not willing to do that, you're not going to keep growing and stay successful.
Dad said, treat everybody with respect. So, we have vendors that are selling this product. We have landlords, we have tenants, we have folks that are doing work on your buildings. And Dad got the nickname Milk of Human Kindness because he was just such a kind person and flowed with that milk. And he always was respectful of people. You don't need a bully to get things. You don't need a bully to buy things at a better price. Treat everybody with respect. And Dad's the big example of that. It's a history that starts with my grandfather, who was that kind gentleman and a great example, followed by Dad, who is now 98.5, and Bob and Russ and my late sister Buff and myself. And now, as we mentioned, 5 from the 4th generation. That's 94 years of a great story, and we're very proud of that story, as any small business. We have now, with the additions of the Pleasance Hardware, we have approximately about 300 employees, and it's neat to hear folks that say, "Gosh, how long has that guy Mark at Hilltop been with you?" And you go, "Well, he's a fisher. Yeah, his dad was one of the original members, and we just celebrated Mark's retirement here about a month ago. A lot of loyalty there. Hopefully, we're doing the some right things and treating our employees well, and hopefully they feel at home at Taylor's and have a bond with the other employees. So we got a great group.
Family is sometimes an overused word these days, but I think our group really does look at it that way. We try to look out for each other, and whether it's the managers looking out for their teams or from an overarching perspective, I think we really do take that to heart and try and keep up with what's going on in families. And families have the challenges. If we can be there as a resource to help them through that, all the better. When I think about my dad and the example he said, somebody who's really passionate about retail and loves the business. I mean, his, up until he had a fall and broke his hip
Twice.
Twice, yeah. He was at the office still 3 days a week, driving himself to the office. In fact, when he broke it, he had just driven home from the office, and so his Saturday routine was usually to drive around to as many stores as he could hit in one day, to go visit stores and see what was happening. And if he wasn't in visiting stores, he was out driving new neighborhoods as the city grew or in their areas grew and developed. He was out looking, well, where's the opportunity for the next new store? So, somebody in their 90s doing that kind of activity and that engaged, we got a lot to live up to.
I had dinner with Mom and Dad last night. I try and eat with them once a week, and we're over there, and Dad's in his chair, and we're having a drink, and he just leans over to me and goes, "God, I really miss it."